Leprechaun Returns, a sequel to the original film ignoring all ones before it that came after a failed reboot. Brought to you by the Sci-Fi Channel, for some reason. The film begins with a dramatic recreation of the ending to the first film, with the leprechaun getting throat clovered and falling in the well. 25 years later, this is Lila, and she dreams of zombie leprechauns. As you do. Her sorority sisters fail to pick her up, but luckily there's Ozzy from the first movie. I guess Three Guys Who Paint broke up because Ozzy wanted to expand to ride sharing. The joke's on them, he's the only ride sharer in North Dakota. He's got plenty of shamrock.
Are you Irish?
No.
Oh. Just a fan of the culture?
Not at all.
Never be too prepared. The two start talking, and it turns out Lila's the daughter of Tori from the first movie. But of course, this movie couldn't afford to bring back Jennifer Aniston, so she died a year earlier. There's no word if Nathan's the father or not. I mean, I guess, but also be a little weird that Ozzy doesn't bring it up. And of course, she's getting taken to the Leprechaun house because the sorority bought it and wants to spruce it up with green energy. AU, like gold. Ozzy does not like it here. Make sure to avoid the well. We should have filled that fucker with concrete, and if something bad happens, make sure to check the basement. She checks the well instead, but gets interrupted by her sorority sisters arriving. Katie, played by Lacey from Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Oh, I love clover juice.
Right? I'm so over Kate.
This is Rose. She's super high-strung because she's the one taking this serious because it's her name on the deed who bought this place.
Wait, there's no internet?
Yeah, no internet, no power, and no cell service either until we get these freaking solar panels installed.
Every single horror movie since about 2012-ish has to have this scene in it. Even though they also established the house is an hour away from town, so they're still isolated, but they just have to knock it over your head. They can't call for help. But we'll still see them play with their phones later. Ozzy remembers he dropped his phone at the house, so he has to make a Yui. As we meet our last sorority girl, Meredith, she thinks this whole green energy thing's whatever, so she brought beer and pizza plus two dudes, Matt and Andy. Katie's pissed because Matt's her ex, Rose is pissed no one's taking his cereal, and Ozzy's pissed that he has to go back to his hellhole. And he hears something from the well. Grabbing a clover, and he gets Irish springed. He coughs up a clover, and much like Leprechaun 4, the leprechaun bursts out of his belly. Despite still being the same leprechaun, he's played by a different actor, Lyndon Porco, who ironically also played Chucky. He's a planet better than Leprechaun Origins, and honestly he's a pretty decent successor to Warwick David. You know, like actually trying, unlike the last film. He was able to reconstitute because Ozzy still had that gold coin he swallowed in the first film. Meanwhile, the college kids are talking energy efficiency and pizza. Mark also likes filming people, and you know damn well this came out a decade earlier, this film would have been found footage. Recording Lila, trying to make her admit to stuff, and she admits she's friendless because she had to take care of her mom, then she was scared of monsters her entire life, then she died. Kitty and Andy bang, and Lila dreams of zombie Ozzy. She's slowly turning into Tina Belcher, as the basement is flooded. So it's time to do chores, and Mark has a drone. And Lep even goes to work, but he's a little out of practice. So to increase his power, he needs his gold, plus a high kill streak. So he goes to practice on the mailman, somehow being able to reach the pedals. And hey, he's got a thing for shoes again. I'm kind of amazed none of the sequels really did anything with that. He thinks about pulling a psycho on Lila, but remembers she's the main character, so just does the hot water flushing toilet trick instead. They realize they have mysterious tracks, and their Spotify keeps recommending them Irish music, so clearly they got a leopard infestation. And they killed the plush panda. That evil bastard. He confronts Lila, saying he wants his gold, but the gold necklace she's wearing burns him. But the air pump for the air mattress blew to power. So now Mark can do his paranormal activities. Meredith thinks she's tripping on alcohol because I guess she's slipping on some absinthe. And takes a selfie with a Lep.
A Walkman and a camera all in one. Impressive.
What's a Walkman?
Forget it.
Lep wants his gold, but he wants Lila more, so they won't lay their hands on Meredith if they give him. The rest don't believe Lila about a leprechaun, but they believe Meredith. As Lep is busy wrestling with Andy, and cuts him in half with a solar panel. Then finds Rose in the closet and cleans up the shoes and makes a Crocs joke 10 years too late. They search for the car keys as Meredith sacrifices Lila by locking her in the basement. Everyone escapes but her, but luckily she remembers that there was something in the basement. Even Ghost Ozzy helps point out it's behind the brick with all of the main characters from the first movie's name on it. It's directions to the gold and a cheat sheet about what the Leprechaun can do.
Super strength telekinesis, really good impressions. He's like an awful David Blaine. Or just David Blaine.
Plus, Clover's in general hurts him, not just four-leafed ones. She escapes out the basement window. With the others, Meredith comes clean. Leprechaun stole the drone, causing a crash. And Lep decides to lawyer Meredith, saying that he only said he wouldn't lay hands on her, never said turn her into a blood sprinkler. The other three, okay, two, because Mark gets his head cut off by a drone, meet up with Tina and they follow the map to the gold in the old rusty truck again, and it's gone. Because apparently Rose found it months earlier, and that's how they were able to buy the house. So they just have to go to the Cache for Gold, which is in Bismarck, the capital of North Dakota. So plan C is to use Lila's necklace, which is iron pyrite, fool's gold, and iron burns fairies. So they're going to fake an argument so the Leprechaun overhears this, head back to the house with, I guess, chocolate gold coins. What are these? As the Leprechaun does the audit, the rest of the pot is filled with tampons. Then the other two ladies will beat the Leprechaun pillowcases full of iron, and they form an iron circle with tampons around him. They get the power back on, but Lep tries, if you let me free, I'll give you a wish. I bring back your mom. But not even Leprechaun can afford Jennifer Aniston, so his fake voice is Heather McDonald. Lila doesn't believe it, so they pump him full of clover juice, exploding him. But they also establish in this film that he has to be completely destroyed, and all the chunks turn into tiny minion leprechauns. They take out Rose with a hammer and knocking her onto her trophy. But I guess they get tired of doing that, so he forms the full leprechaun. But then they remember gold is superconductive, so electrocute the Lep, which causes a house fire. And now they're trapped in because their eco-friendly windows are not easy to smash. But luckily they remember there's a hole in the window in the basement from earlier. As the house explodes, the two ladies are splashed by well water. The college wants to review their grant. And of course Lep survived and he's hitchhiking to Bismarck for his gold. Final body count? 6. Honestly, this is pretty solid. The new Lep is a worthy successor that fills the spirit of Warwick David. I'm kind of whatever about making him actually green-skinned, but the makeup is good, if that makes any sense. The film brings back the silly aspects that the remake completely failed to do, and honestly it's kind of funny, even with some meta jokes that don't really land. Like any good legacy sequel, it pays tribute to the original while also setting itself apart, while also not having to completely reinvent the wheel. This is currently the final of the Leprechaun films, but, it was only 2018. They could still make more later. 6 out of 10. But comment your thoughts down below, as well as hitting the like button and the subscribe button if you're new.